Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, today I'll be doing a summary of day 8 of NAHW from the Doing program by Ustadh Nouman Ali Khan. And then today was about, of course, at the beginning there was some quiz, and Ustadh was just checking like the pronoun, asking Ahmad and Miriam to just translate from Arabic to English. For example, huwa is he, something like that. Nothing really special. Then of course after that Ustadh started talking about the Harf of Nasb Idhaafah. So for example, of course, we know that it has two parts, like we learned from last two classes also briefly. So yeah, like the first is called Harf of Nasb, then of course Ismuha, yeah, and of course the Harf of Nasb, لكن لعل بأن لأن ليت كأن أن إن. So Ustaz was taking our time to just explain what each one actually mean. For example, inna is used to clear doubt. So izala to shak, yeah, something like this, getting rid of doubt. That's what inna is. Certainly, indeed, like definitely. And of course ka'anna is like for comparison, like some kind of analogy. So it's like as though it's a mango, something like that. So yeah. Then of course anna is different from inna, because inna is certainly, but anna is like that, like, you know, when you're talking like, oh, this is the book that, to like there's that, like to point, oh, that is that boy. And if you want to say, okay, this is the man that, so in English we have two kind of that. One is to point, and the other one is actually to just clarify. So the one to clarify here is like the anna. So definitely, yeah. And of course we also have later, which is like commonly used for regret. It's used a lot in the Quran, where I talk about different people regretting and all this kind of stuff. And of course lakin and lakinna. So it's a bit different. Lakinna is however, and of course lakin also is however. And we have also both also in the Quran according to Ustad's explanation. But of course, lakin is half of nothing, but it doesn't have effect on anything, basically. And of course, la'alla also, Ustad also was explaining la'alla. So if you look at it here, I think I wrote a note. Yes, la'alla could mean like three things, hopefully, maybe, so that. So of course, it's half of nasb. But of course, if you talk about li, which is a light half for present, so it actually means so that. So, and there was this verse in the Quran where Allah was talking about Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, what is it? Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So, like Ustaz was explaining that. So, it's like, when we say so that, is like something is causative, something leads to another thing. So, I give you your money so that you can eat, for example, like this. So, but here, if we talk about la'alla, there's some element of doubt. You are not 100% sure. So, it's not like, you know, it has to happen. So hopefully, maybe, you know, something like this. And then of course, let me see more. Ka'anna, yeah, ka'anna is as though, just to make comparison. Later I've explained all this. And bi'anna is because. So, and li'anna also is because. And then yeah, Ustaz was explaining, there's also a note. Let me see. I note that if the half ends in a noon, and it's followed by an attached pronoun that begins with a ni, so ni or na, the two can merge to it or remain separate. For example, you can say inna ni, or you say inni, something like that. So innani, or you say inni. So yeah, half of nasb. So we did, let me check my note, of course. Later regrets. Yeah, of course, then we start with doing a review, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Yeah. Then the Ustad was explaining Surah Al-Asr. Yeah. So page 27 review. So li, of course, is half of light. I've explained that already. So let me see. So remember that the half of nasb make the ism after it. Nasb, of course, let's look back different ways. So it can be on Muslim and Musa, of course, this is non-flexible, partly flexible, Yusufa, all this kind of example. Then inna, so this is page 27. Inna Allah, so definitely the half of nasb. Lafdhu jalala, so remember we say lafdhu jalala ismuha. So alimun hakim, that is just mawsuf and sifa. So what is being described, and this is the description. Ka'anna, of course, ka'anna is harf of nasib. Then ka, of course, is like a ismuha. So anna lahum ajran. So the same thing also. So the anna is anna ajran lahum, something like that. So because of course lahum will be mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So as we have learned, of course, already. Or you can also say because it's a lahu, so lahum. So that can also be like you use the half of jar also with it. So jar and majrur, hum can be majrur. So it's of course in the jar form, because you cannot really see it. It's either hum. And then let me see. Of course, we also went to drill 7, if I remember. And there was also a point about broken plural are also partly flexible. Yeah. So, and we start explaining about nothing come between mudaf, yeah, mudaf and mudaf ilayh. But let me quickly finish this. So, do 7 and tekulu. So, at the following half of nasb was muha, seku, anna, of course, anna is there. Inna sofa, of course, inna is there. In huwa is not inna, of course, is there. Inna alayka la'alla ya'lama. No, that one is different. So, that's half of nasb. And say la, then the light form. So the ya'lama. So ka'annahum walakinna, of course, is there. Lakinna is there. Lahu, no, is different. That is half of jar. And antakulu, so that one also is different. So of course we start studying about mudaf and mudaf ilayh, and of course you always have the mudaf part, of course the mudaf ilayh, but in English it's kind of a switch. So in Arabic it's like mudaf and mudaf ilayh, but yeah, it's a kind of switch. So the word mudaf ilayh is like the one that come after the of course. I think we start doing a drill, and there was also about nothing comes between mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So muslimu Makkah, so you say rabbana, so mudaf, rabba is like a mudaf, na is mudaf ilayh. Qawmu Musa, so qawmu is like a mudaf, and of course mudaf ilayh. Then the mudaf are usually translated with al on it, the Muslims. So you can say the Muslims of Makkah, so our Lord, the people of Musa, something like this. So there can also be idafa shayn when you have like a multiple idafa following each other. So if you can see my notes, like I wrote it like by hand, is very beautiful. Like for example, you can say dhikri here, which is mudaf because it's light, and rahmati, right? So dhikr rahmati, let me go and see it from the book itself. I think it's somewhere here. Yeah, Rasulullahi, yeah, mudaf and mudaf ilayh. I think we are now on a mudaf shayn. Yeah, dhikr rahmati, you can see is kasra, so that makes it mudaf ilayh. Then of course it's also light, so it can also be mudaf. Then rabbi, it's also like light, it's also kasra, is jar, so that can be mudaf ilayh. So rabbi also can also be a mudaf, because of course it's having light. Then of course, as we know, ka can also be in nasib or jar form. So in this case it's actually in jar, so it's rabbika. So mudaf and also mudaf ilayh. So there's a like just also something like this. Amr mudaf, then rabbi mudaf ilayh, then rabbi also become mudaf, then he also become mudaf ilayh. So that's about the what's it called, the mudaf or mudaf ilayh shayn. So the mudaf shayn basically, idafa shayn basically. So the a'lama, yeah, there was also just like another explanation about all these kind of partly flexible and all this stuff that we are going to be studying later. The broken plural are partly flexible. That's what I was trying to say the other time. So akbaru, of course, we know it's partly flexible. Of course, if you put alif lam on it, you call akbaru, al akbara, al akbari, right? But here is actually partly flexible. Akbaru, akbar, right? The ahkami, because this is mudaf, also it become like a fully flexible. So that will be ahkam al hakimin, right? And bi'a'lama is the income of a comparison here. And we also did some Quran studies a bit, talking about what Asr Ustadh was explaining about this. And also, yeah, I think that's pretty much. They were supposed to actually learn about special mudaf, and which is actually on page 23 or so, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's on page 31, right? Yes, page 31. So qawm, fawq, tahta, qabla, ba'da, duna, so beside, lada in the presence of wara, behind, qaddama in front of, khalf behind, amama in front, bayna between, hawla around, inda with or at or by something, ma'a with support or with somebody, then min ladun especially from. And I think this is the ending for now. Inshallah, we'll also continue with the summary of Dina. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.